everything looks blurry. Well, once again, I can't help that. Just got out of the shower. We are going to talk today about the biblical tarot. Light our sage here. I'm not sure what all these buttons do. I don't know how I can get it unclear. Just have to bear with me for a minute. Well, looks like we hit that button again, didn't we? There. Okay. I better quit messing with things, huh? Okay, so we have the King of Grains energy. The King of Grains energy. Let's turn this off. Okay, what is the King of Grains energy? You're not going to be able to see, so let's just go ahead and talk about this. We've got, so Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. This is Genesis 41:41. Joseph's in charge of Egypt. Number 14 reduces to a 5, which is changes. And right after the queen, or right after the king, we have the queen. Okay, the Queen of Grains. So what I'm getting here is we have a King and Queen of Pentacles that is totally cool, okay? That means that we've got two people coming together, the mission partners are coming together, and that they're totally ready to go. Now, last night in Astro, I know myself, I closed the past doors that I needed to close finally. And then in physical, I did the same thing. I put all the pictures in their drawers, all the pictures in separate boxes, so that the families can have a box of the old mission partner. I have a box for my daughter. I have my box that I can either take with me or give to my daughter. Everything's all separated and put into their box, right? And put into a drawer. That's in physical form. Now, when we go into Astro, we had to do some closing of doors there. And many of you did this last night, whether you remember it or not, okay? And you said, I'm going to stay in this energy with these people. And you picked your energy force, your soul tribe. I had told Soul Sister that I'm only going to be with my soul tribe. I've told Susan that. That doesn't necessarily mean only in spirit realm, and it doesn't necessarily mean only in physical. It's both. Okay, so there may be one person, two people that maybe that I physically am with, and then there's a whole soul tribe in the universe part, the astral part. So if you're feeling alone, you're not alone in astral. Okay, so last night that's what we did. So I know that not all of you remember, and that's okay, but it was really powerful. So if you feel really energetic today, like I do, you could feel the opposite. You could feel really tired. I get tired first, and then I get my kick in, and I feel really good when it's done. Some of you are the opposite. Some of you may feel really good, and then you get really drained. Okay? So we have the King and the Queen of Pentacles. We're ready now to bring it into the movie, bring it into the 4D. We're ready. King and Queen of Pentacles says that too. Now the Queen of Pentacles is Proverbs 31:18, and it's the Proverbs 31 woman. Now, this is really a good card because that's exactly who I am, is the Proverbs 31 woman. And many of you are on your way there. And that's why it's taking a little longer for you to get your mission partner, because there's a lot of cleansing to do. Okay, so look up Proverbs 31, Proverbs 31 woman. She sees her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. Okay. Proverbs 31. So you have Genesis 41:41 about Joseph, king of Egypt, and you have the Proverbs 31 woman. Okay. Now that's also the 13th card, and he's the 14th card. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and just pull some cards, and I'm not going to read all of the scriptures, but there you have some scriptures to look at. Okay, really, really important. If anybody knows cards, King and Queen of Pentacles is just great. That's so awesome to have that energy. And like I said, I'm really full of energy. My mind is like going everywhere. Because yesterday, like I said, putting all those pictures away and putting them in a box and closing the door in physical, and then going to astro and doing it in the 5D and higher realms, it's just such a completion. It just feels so good. So, all right, we're just going to pull some here and see what they say. Okay. We've got 2 of candles and 7 of candles. Candles are swords. So we have the 2 of swords and the 7 of swords. So what they're telling me, without reading all the scriptures, I'm just going to go into this. You had to make a decision in astral, and you have to make a decision in the physical realm. Okay? Are you going to go back to past timelines, meaning past people? Okay, you take back an old partner, or you take back an ex, or you take back anyone from your past, that's going to a lower timeline. So if you just keep ascending and letting them drop where they may, and you keep ascending, okay, you're going to get people added to you. You're leaving the deception behind. That's the 7 of swords. So you have to make this decision. Last night, okay, I could have said, oh yeah, I like that timeline that I used to be on. I'm going to stay there. I have free will. Just like the pictures, I had the choice whether I wanted to put all the pictures up on my walls, or whether I wanted to put them in a box and put them in the closet, in the drawers, and say, nope, I'm moving on. Okay, the decision is mine. Nobody's going to make it for you. So do you want to stay where you are, or do you want to keep going? Okay, so many of you, I can't stress enough, time is really running out. Now I know time don't exist, but there comes a point where it's like the universe has to draw a line and say, okay, this is your timeline. Okay, this is your timeline. Because we've got this movie to finish. We've got this world mission to finish. And we can't keep giving you chances. Just like you in real life, you know, how many chances are you going to give them before you decide to leave? So the 2 of swords is that decision was made, or you're making it, but it's just, it has to be done. And the lies and the deception, the 7 of candles, has to go. Okay. Now the next 2 cards are, I'm taking them 2 by 2. Why am I taking them 2 by 2? Because I just got done saying we have connected with our mission partner in 5D and higher. Now we're bringing them in. Remember last week I said we were working on it? Well, last night, many of us went back to our old timeline and we closed it. We closed it off. We sealed it. That's major, major shit. Okay? We were working on it. Now we sealed it. No more going back for many of us. Now, the ones of you that didn't do that, then this is your warning that it's coming up. And you're going to have to, what they do is they put you on your old timeline and they let you go through some experiences and see where you are. If you're playing in with it and all is great, or if you're arguing with the people because you're on a higher timeline, or if you're silent with other people, but you're like, oh, this sucks. I don't like this timeline at all. That's where I was. And I just say, I can't wait to get out of here. And, but some of you are arguing and you're still in that timeline. Some of you are enjoying it. You're like, oh, I'm so glad to be back here. Okay. But that's the test you have to go through. Because in your physical body, you can say one thing, but it's not really true. In astral, there's no lying. You can't hide in astral. Okay, I hope you caught all that because that was pretty deep stuff there. Okay, now the next two cards are the Nine of Cups and the King of Swords. Makes perfect sense, right? King of Swords is the guy of truth, right? All matters is you got your King of Swords because you want someone that's truthful. You want the guy on your highest timeline or the girl. Just like when I said my last mission partner was the drunk of the town, well, I was Miss Disorderly Conduct Queen. So we went together perfectly. This timeline, I wouldn't go out with the drunk of the town. Absolutely not. Okay, and why? Because we're going for our Nine of Cups, which is our wishes and our desires. So we have the King of Swords, number 14. And then we have the Nine of Cups. So we're going towards our wishes and our desires. So we have our King of Swords. Next two cards, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse and the Five of Cups. So we're leaving disappointment behind. We were very disappointed when we were in astral last night, what I just said to you. When we were with our past people, it was very disappointing, but it was very healing because we didn't fall into the Nine of Candles. The Nine of Candles is in reverse. So we didn't fall into the disappointment. We said, oh, I'm so glad I'm out of that. I mean, we were doing stuff that we did 20, 30 years ago, right? And we're like in our old houses and our old jobs. We're with our old partners. And you were being tested on how you were feeling. Did you like it? Were you argumentative? Were you silent, right? Well, I was silent and I was so disappointed in the atmosphere. I couldn't wait to leave. But I didn't fall into any kind of anxiety, the Nine of Swords in reverse. I didn't fall into it because I know that I'm higher than that. Okay? It's kind of like I said about the old timeline. I would never even think of going out with the drunk of the town today. But back then in 1993, I was like, this is great. I got my prize. I'm so excited. I got my prize, the drunk of the town. Can you believe that kind of thinking? Well, I know some of you were big time into rock and roll and sex and drugs and alcohol. Well, your greatest prize was the girl that was going to lay you in the laundry room, right? Or backstage. Well, today you probably wouldn't think that was your prize. You probably would love the Proverbs 31 woman today. So what changed? Timelines. We changed timelines. So if you're back last night in Astro and you're in a rock and roll band and you're backstage screwing somebody, right? Well, that shows that you're still on that timeline. If you were looking at the situation like, oh, I love the guitar playing, but this sex and drugs, not for me, then you were disappointed in the atmosphere and you couldn't wait to get to your highest timeline. So there's another example of you're disappointed, but you're not falling into the lower timeline. But that was your test. You had to be tested. Because you can say in this realm, right? Oh, yeah, I want a Proverbs 31 woman. She's celibate. She loves God. She's just awesome. But really, you're thinking with your zipper, and you really want the girl down the street that you can just bang in the parking lot, right? So I'm using that for an example because that's reality. But when you're an astro, you can't hide it. Okay, next two cards are in reverse. We've got the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Cups in reverse. So that's just saying you have left the last timeline. Everything I just said, so it's repeating itself. You've left the timeline because there was no love there. You didn't feel excited. You felt disappointed. You felt unloved. You felt no satisfaction. And therefore, you want the Queen of Cups upright, and therefore, you walked away from the past. Some of you didn't. Some of you stayed there. That gives us the way of figuring out where you belong on your timeline, because that's where we are in the movie right now. When I say time doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. But we have this movie, this world mission to play out, and we got to know where to put our soldiers. Put it that way. You know, are you on the front line, on the medium line, on the back line? We need to know where to put you, just like any job. We need to know where to put you. Are you a supervisor? Are you a waitress? Are you a dishwasher? Okay, well, that's what we're doing in Astro right now. And not all of you did that last night. Some of you are going to be doing it. And that's why I'm giving you this warning that you're going to go through it. It's intense because you're feeling all of these past feelings, but we're testing, the quantum's consciousness is testing where you're at, because you can't lie. So if you're really disappointed and you really want to be on that higher timeline, that's where you go. But if you're loving it, we'll send you back there. So it's quantum consciousness in full force going on right now. Okay, so this was a deep reading, but I want to, it just repeated itself and backed up everything I said. I want to shout out to Menards in Wisconsin. And I want to tell you that the affirmation today is, as a dreamer of my dream, I spontaneously and passionately ignite the flame. The song of the day is The Flame by Cheap Trick. I'm going to do a short later for it, and I'm also going to put it on my playlist. It was a beautiful song by Cheap Trick, and I want you all to check it out. It's a mellow ballad, but I'm igniting the flame. I've passed my test. I've went to my highest timeline, and now I'm bringing in my physical partner that's on the highest timeline. And so are you, especially if you're listening to this right now. You were there last night. Soul Sister, Daniel, Lee, for sure you were there last night. Okay, so let's continue on. I'll pull one more to close us out. From the middle of the deck, we have the parable of the rich fool. So the only thing it's telling you is don't get greedy in any section of your life. Luke 12:15. Then he said to them, watch out, be on guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. Oh, what a super way to end this, huh? So just don't get caught up in the quantum consciousness of greed in the material, okay? Especially if you do get your Nasara Gasara, especially if you do get a big abundance somewhere, somehow, don't let it take over. Use it only for the good. And I just got confirmation from Mr. Poole. The key has been found, he says. So lots of stuff happening. I could talk for a long time, but I'm not gonna. But what a great warning, huh? What a great warning. The Four of Pentacles, Luke 12:15. I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.